Borealum. It was no secret that it was the Warboss Gorgutz himself who led the war in the Kaurava conflict. But who were the Orks he led? Imperial records indicate that these Orks had always been in Kaurava, going back at least a millennium. It seems that when Gorgutz arrived, they welcomed him as a long-awaited hero. These rugged Kauravan Orks had sometimes overrun the system's 4 planets, and sometimes been beaten back to their secret stronghold in the Rockclaw Mountains. There had never once been a successful attempt to breach the vast hideout there, and the Orks believed there never could be. But in the past, these Orks had always retreated to this place in great numbers at the first sign of defeat. Gorgutz saw such behavior as un-Orky. He insisted that you had to take a bolter round or 2 if you wanted to win. And Gorgutz lived only to win. Gorgutz's strategy meant that the Ork stronghold was not invincible. But this did not mean that it was undefended. Reaching the lair was one thing. Penetrating its defenses was entirely another.
You see, Big Boss Gorgutz, this here's the strongest and bestest Orkhold has ever held an Ork.
Oh, is that so then?
Ain't no human's got in here ever. With the Rockclaw Mountains all round us, there's only one way in. Even if there was to get in, they'd have all the boys to face. Oh, and the knobs, and the tanks. Then there's the squig-offs.
Say they beat all that.
That's when we get 'em with the fighter bombers. We'd squash 'em to a pulp. We got watchers watching day and night. Nobody but an Ork gets close to us without we see 'em and crush 'em to smithereens.
Boss! Boss! There's enemies in the camp!
What? In the camp? We gotta stop 'em before they gets to the killy spot. Them drums! Beat the drums! Get to 'em!
What's this here killy spot?
Beat the drums! We've got to hold the killy spot!
Bestest Orkhold ever, huh?
Force Commander Boreale had personally seen several engagements with the Orks, and considered them entirely beyond hope of reform. So when the Ordo Xeno learned the location of the Ork stronghold, directly beneath the Nanyanoi moonbase, it was only a matter of time before they would need to be eliminated. Over the course of thousands of battles, Indrick Boreale had developed cruelly keen instincts. Boreale felt that he must crush the Ork threat soon, or risk losing his foothold in the Kaurava system. He consulted his head sorcerer, General Stubbs, only to have his suspicions confirmed by a divination. The Kaurava system had known strife between the Orks and the Imperial Guard long before the present conflict, in the form of isolated outbreaks and outright war. But before this time, the Guardsmen had faced the Kauravan Orks alone, who were never as organized or aggressive as now, under the leadership of Warboss Gorgutz. He had not been long in the Kaurava system before Commander Boreale sensed the danger posed by an Ork war there. But the time was not right, and so he waited and watched. Lines and threats invisible to any ordinary tactician appeared to him, and then at last Boreale knew he must move. The fact that the Imperium had shared a planetary system with the filthy Ork barbarians for hundreds of years, rather than promptly exterminating them, filled Commander Boreale with disgust. His Marines would tolerate such an infestation no more than the taints of heresy or mutation. Of course, the failures of the weak Imperial Guard had become compounded. The Orks had been allowed to enter the dangerous war phase and could no longer be ignored. The bumbling forays of the Ork armies had irritated Boreale one too many times, and he grew weary of their presence in his battlefield. It was without much difficulty that the Blood Ravens, keen of eye and ear, found the supposedly secret mountain fortress of the Kauravan Orks.
Ork knobs! Look sharp, men! They must have a camp somewhere. If we come to them, they will not be coming to us. We can take anything they throw at us, but it would be less of a nuisance if we did not have these tanks on the field slowing our progress. Find the machine shops and put a stop to those contraptions.
Warboss! Gorgutz!
Yeah, what is it?
Me boys saw that big Yumi you said to look out for.
Well, where is he?
Warboss, I don't know where he got to.
How'd you lose him? You sotted, groddy excuse for an orc. Bah! Too many spots for him to hide like snivelling grots. Where'd they go? Come back and fight, you squigs!
Warboss! Me saw where the Yumis came from. There's a base, and it's real close. Let's stomp it!
When I gets over there, I's gonna... First we gotta get all the boys there, huh? Listen up here. This is the plan. We move fast, see? We knock through them all fast till we're inside. Got it? Good. Come on, boys. Get out and get ready for fighting.
In terms of fighting Orks, the Blood Ravens found as great a challenge in the Rocklaw Mountains as any they had ever faced. First was the difficulty in assailing the mountain stronghold itself. Second were the tactics of the infamous Warboss Gorgutz, whose prowess grew greater with every campaign he fought and survived. As great as the challenge was, the Blood Ravens proved themselves matchless soldiers, undaunted by any foe.
Boss! There's more of them! South and northwest! Ain't very big, though!
Crikey, what's all them shooty bits? We ain't gonna march right through all of them. What we gonna do? I've seen those Yumi tanks before. Nothing but trouble they is. I know what. We ought to smash their mech shops those came from is what. If yous don't want to get dead, look out. It's got Yumis get in and jump out and get ya. Look at them Yumis hiding in the steel boxes. Real Orks will peel off the top and eat the pink skins inside. Boys, if you find where they're coming from, stomp 'em to bits. You hear? Never get in here, you says.
You'll see. The Rock Claw boys will stomp 'em good.
That's so.
We got tricks we ain't showed yet, we do. You just watch us.
They's coming this way. Send the bombers. Send the knobs. Send the tanks. Bring all the squig off. Whoa!
They'd better watch out now. We's the Orks. The Rock Claw Orks. Whoa!
Warboss Gorgutz had fought the Blood Ravens before, and he knew they were good enemies. Blink your eyes and they'd give you a good stomping. This time, though, he figured it was them that had blinked, and him and his boys who would be doing the stomping. Still, when the war reached them, those Blood Ravens put up a right good fight, and tore up plenty of Orks before Commander Boreale closed in and squashed them good.
Boss, we found the shops they've been making the transports from!
That's where all the fighters is coming from. Let's blast it up good. Boys, if you see where them fighters is coming from, smash it good.
We smash 'em and no more Yumis out of the sky.
Wreck it for the Orks.
I do not want my Space Marines just trying to march through all those fighter bombers. Identify their point of origin and neutralize it. That giant banner they have there. Knock it down. That will demoralize them. Ready yourself, Blood Ravens. We know our duty and we will do it.
That one, he's the Warboss, sure. We get him, we got him licked is what I say, and what I say, you do. We boys ought to be snapping the necks of them pink-skinned Yumis. Come on, smash them. Start with that one right there.
There he is. How'd he get all the way over there? Get him, boys. Smash 'em good! Show 'em the Orks is the best!
Here comes some fighting! Now we see if you boys is worth to be called Orks!
Get in place, me boys! Fight and fight good! Oi! The killing spot is ours! Ours!
Get 'em! Wah!
Cleaving to their sense of duty, and with a great deal of purging fire, the Blood Ravens stormed the ancient Ork retreat in the Rocklaw Mountains and thoroughly routed their foes. Although superior in numbers and barbarity, the Orks could not match the advanced strategies of the battle-hardened super soldiers. Like a fine and deadly blade, Boreale's forces pierced the heart of the ancient Ork stronghold. The sheer number of these green brutes rendered the stronghold's sack quite difficult, but the Blood Ravens prevailed. Gorged on bloodshed, the Space Marines crushed the Ork forces. They tore through the ancient Ork stronghold, an enclave untouched by intruders for millennia.
My war banner! They got my war banner! Why,
Ah! They got themselves the killing spot!
what's so special about this killy spot of yours? Just take it back.
You try getting it back!
You watch your mouth there, you pimply grot.
Sir, our scouts have spotted a base not far off in the direction that this attack came from.
All right, men. First, we need to break through these outer defenses. The stronghold lies directly below us. Let us strike before they suspect anything. Push on, men, push on! Now, just how are we going to get over there?
What's this? Energy what's it splinkering right under me nose? Sodden Yumi's tricks is what that is. Iniggy spots, is it? Why is it Heidi Yumi trying to sneak in and get us all blowed up? Thought you could send your big guns our way, eh?
Now! Fire!
Boss! By the big gun they got down there! They're powering up! Uh-oh! Watch out!
What's it doing? It's shooting us! It's shooting us! Get out of there, you snivelling grots! Do you want your head blown up? We gotta smash them up! That's it, good! Wah! Look here, you socket runs! Down there! We blast that! We blast them all off of Kaurava! So get the blasters and shooters ready, cause we got some fighting to do! It's what we've got!
Gork! Where'd they come from?
Alright, these here pink skins done enough of this here zapping round and hiding from the Orks. I say it's time to show 'em War Ork style. Ready up, boys, find a way in there and we'll blast him all to Zog.
Unfortunately for the Orks, the Imperial Guard was also fighting under a new leader. The determined General Stubbs dogged Gorgutz right into the Rocklaw Mountains, farther than the Imperial Guard had ever penetrated, and there dealt his Wa a mortal blow. Although no match for the Orks in close combat or in numbers, the strategies and the weaponry of the 252nd Conservator Regiment allowed them to achieve complete victory. The ancient mountain base, which had never before known a successful assault, was split open under the vice-like pressure of the Imperial military.
They're in the main base! Warboss! Warboss! Some boys we saw they got Bernie Yumis. We better have more boys, sure, if we wants to stomp 'em.
What's this? If we don't stomp 'em, they'll be worse than all four squig are stomping on us. Alright, now listen up, boys. We got this far, that's good. That's 'cause we the Orks, and I'm Gorgutz, the one and only. No one stops Gorgutz, now bring in the grots.
Boss! The Mech boys figured it out. See? All we gotta do is take...
I've had enough of yous. Now my boys will show you how it's done. What's this? Grots? Build us some stuff to fight with, now! And quick like, so we can get down to the fighting.
This oughta make 'em blasty!
More sluggers! More sluggers! More!
Yeah!
That's what I like to see. Now that's what I call some good fighting, Orks. We can smash some stuff up with all them boys.
Under the war banner of Warboss Gorgutz and Unter, the Orks of Kaurava had proved themselves tough, capable warriors. Their numbers, brute strength, and tenacity could not be overestimated. Neither Gorgutz nor his army, however, were prepared for a full army of space marines. Undaunted by the fearsome reputation of the Orks, the Blood Ravens swept in on the Rocklaw Mountains. They coursed through the mountain paths and poured into the ancient stronghold sacred to the Kauravan Orks, which had never before known intruders. Although the Orks fought bravely, and many who died that day should have been sung heroes, all fell, crushed beneath the flood.
Oi! Them's me special guard boys!
Oh, they keep squashing everything they get to!
Yah! I stepped on Grutz's foot better as you sorry orcs! Ain't no sodden Yumi's gonna stop Headhunter Gorgutz! This'll be a orc world, this'll be my world!
My Orkold! My beautiful Orkold!
I've had enough of this. Come on, boys, let's get out of here!
This decisive battle spelled the end of the Kauravan Orks. Those guardsmen that made it took plenty of trophies and skulls and got their paws on plenty of the Orks' gear. Many Ork corpses festooned the battlefield. Orks in great number were taken as playthings for General Stubbs, his top officers, and as tribute to Segmentum Command. The Imperial Guard was sent through the narrow mountain passes to hunt Orks that had fled. The guardsmen methodically hunted every last Ork down. Strangely, several reports suggest that an Ork rocket blasted off from the Rocklaw Mountains just at the moment of the victory. Still, even if Gorgutz were aboard this rocket and made it to safety, the Kauravan cause was lost for the Orks. While his crazed, victorious soldiers butchered and burned the vanquished army, General Van Stubbs stalked the ground suspiciously, looking for Gorgutz, his nemesis. Again, his instincts had proved true. The great Ork was nowhere to be found. Still, the victory was won. No Orks would trouble the ascendancy of General Stubbs. The Imperial Guard did not hesitate to claim the remote mountain enclave for their own. Teams of guardsmen scoured the mountains for Orks who had fled, while survey teams mapped the terrain, and the mountain itself came to be known as Stubbs Peak. While the Orks of Kaurava were thoroughly defeated, less is known concerning the great Ork Warboss himself. Imperium scannologs indicate that an Ork craft did take off from the scene, but any other information was lost to the heat of the battle. It was only after a thorough analysis of the battle that Stubbs realized that somehow the Ork warlord Gorgutz had escaped. Still, there was little doubt that he would not be waging war in Kaurava anytime soon. The guardsmen of the 252nd Regiment, who had fought in the Battle of Rocklaw, took on the proud moniker of Orks Bledders. Those men that had shown the greatest bravery and skill that day were granted a true honor, promotion to General Stubbs' elite personal guard. After overcoming the Ork hordes and laying waste to their ancient enclave, the Space Marines proceeded to hunt down every last Ork they could find in those mountains. There was only one blemish in the Space Marines' otherwise flawless execution. Gorgutz himself somehow eluded their grasp. Some reports attested to a crude rocket which took off at the battle's end, while others claim the blast was a timed bomb, closing off a tunnel entrance to cover the Great Ork's escape. All the same, his role in this war was ended, and that was victory enough. During all these proceedings, Commander Boreale himself scoured the camp for his adversary, Gorgutz, but in vain. The Space Marine had looked forward with great pleasure to personally eviscerating the Ork Warboss. Still, they had sent him scurrying in fear, and that would surely suffice for now. The victory was unequivocal. Force Commander Boreale took the victory as a testament to the faith. When it was discovered, after the battle, that the war boss Gorgutz had somehow escaped, he maintained that the Emperor had humbled them in their moment of victory, lest they grow too proud.